like this shit's bad. Come on. No. Poorly Spurt. Right, folks, talky bit at long last. Actually, the style of videos I've been doing recently with no commentary I quite enjoy, because believe it or not, I do pre-plan some of these things. Oh, the workbench is a fucking shit pit again. I have been work-rating on stuff excuse me, behind the scenes. What I've done on Slinky is I think I've said on an earlier video, the original screen wash jets are heated, and they're also controlled. There's oh god, there's wiring everywhere for it. So you've got wires going up into the jets, and then you've also got a wire going to like a little control module. And I do believe what the control module does is opens a little valve in them. This is the only way I can think of explaining it. And a mechanic years ago, when I first got the car, told me that the heating elements inside corrode, and they will block up and they'll stop functioning. That's exactly what happened. And of course I need washy wipers for the MOT, which won't be too far away, hopefully. So what I did is cut the wiring off and just tried the jets on their own. I don't want the wiring if it's going to cause an issue, and you don't really need heated jets, let's be fair. You know, if you de-ice your car properly, you don't need them. So I cut that off, and then they still didn't work. Absolutely nothing was coming through them. I blew through them, nothing. And then I thought, well, I wonder if there's a little check valve in there, which is also electrically controlled. I couldn't understand why there was a little control unit for it. So I thought, right, so I've got nothing to lose. I'd bought some other jets, some universal jets, just to see if I could make my own system up. God, Jim, you're waffling. When you shut up and get on with it. And people are looking at the fuel pump, and you're talking about washer jets. So what I did basically is put a drill through it where the squirty hose fits on, and sure enough, there was like a little barrier there. As soon as I drilled through that, they piss water all day long. So I've now got working washy jets. I had a rust hole behind the headlights there, that's been patched up. I put glass fibre because it's a non-structural part, it's non-load bearing, and all that lot. So we've sort of fixed both wings. There were big rust holes in those, so we've put a metal patch in one, we glass fibred the other, and they're looking way better than what they did. Not perfect, but I don't want it perfect, because as soon as it gets scratched, I shall lose my shit. So yeah, no sharp edges is the goal, because that's for the MOT. Basically, you can't have any bodywork with sharp edges or anything like that, which it now hasn't got. The other thing I've got to do is where the fuel pump and filter sits, which you saw in the last video, or the previous one before that, where one of the studs holds the cover for the pump, it broke off, and it took a tiny little bit of metal with it. You're only talking probably 50p sized bit, so I'm going to glass fibre that, put a glass fibre patch over it. But what I'm going to do is put a bolt through the glass fibre, and then when all the resin's set, I've got a stud, if you follow me, and then I've got a stud for the cover to slip over. I enjoyed that. I'm going to do it again. Slip over. And then basically it's almost good to go for a mod. There's not a lot more I can do to it, and before I put it into a mod, and then at least if it fails the mod, I know what areas I've got to look at. Anyway, back to today's subject. As you've just seen on the introduction to the video, Spurtle just would not start. Now his fuel level is low, but he's not on reserve, and he's only done something like 136 miles on a brimmed tank, and I know from experience that ZZRs get more than that. I should be getting near the 200 mark, because it's only being used for commuting. I'm not raping out of it. So I thought I investigated how the fuel pump works. I took it off because the fuel pump wasn't working. Well, the pump is actually working. If I apply 12 electrodes to this, it will spurt like a teenager with his first wank mag. A relay controls this, and basically what it's supposed to do, if I understand it correctly, so don't take this as gospel, this only pumps out at sort of really low, something like 3 psi, and it's just to top the car bowls up. It is controlled by a relay, which I have replaced. The relay is controlled by the coil circuit, and it's also, the coil circuit is obviously interlinked with all the safety switches, your neutral, your clutch, your side stand. Now my neutral switch is dodgy. It works sometimes, it doesn't work other times. Now if that's causing the pump to shut off, I need to go and wire the neutral switch in properly, because I just literally it was a loose wire when I got the bike. I tightened the wire, put another connector on it. I think I actually there was a bit of charred wanker. Come on, Jim, what's the word? You know, when you rub something through. Anyway, it was like that, and I sort of did a temp fix. So I need to do some maintenance on Spurt, because he's due for an oil change. I just want to change it. I did change the oil when I had it, and now I've ran it a bit. I've done 1,000 and something miles on him, which is unbelievable. I want to change the oil. I know the oil change period is a lot longer than that, but with an unknown history with the bike, I want to put some fresh oleum in it, and then we know we're good. And I've also got a filter up there on the shelf of shit. So I've got some maintenance to do anyway, and his MOT is due in May. March, April, May. Yeah, towards the end of May. I've got a new tyre come, because the rear one, just like what the front one was, is a remold by a company called Concord. And yes, it would pass an MOT. There's enough treadage on it. It's in reasonable condition, but I don't trust the fucking thing, because you've seen what happened to the front tyre. I had the big tumour grow on it, and I don't want that happening with the back tyre. Certainly don't want anything happening if I'm taking a pilly or anything like that. So we've got a nice Michelin radial pilot thing, only because it was the cheapest new tyre on the internety web, and it came from Black Circles. So I bit the bullet, bought a new one. At least then, in my twisted mind, I know that that's as good as it's going to get. So that's some other maintenance. Spurt has also had a very slight oil leak, and it's miraculously stopped itself. It just left a tiny little bit of oil the other day, and it come from the belly pan. So something's dropping into the belly pan and then onto the floor. The starter's also occasionally making a weird noise. Now this could be part of the starting issue. The wagging finger of accusation. ZZR starters and stuff like that, Kawasaki starters in general are known to go a bit wank occasionally. They can get full of carbon. If that starter doesn't spin at its optimum RPMage, it cannot then activate any sprag clutch or anything like that effectively. If you get a slow starter, if it's a sprag system, which most bikes are actually, it won't activate it, and you'll get clunking and banging and all that bollocks. Anyway, I think Spurt's problem is fuel related, because we're not running a pump. I've got a low head of fuel and it's now gravity feed, so is there enough fuel in it to go through there, pass through a filter, and then fill the float bowls up? Like I say, not on reserve yet, but it's about there. It's in the red on the gauge, and I don't trust the gauge anyway. But I was thinking, now we're getting to the point of things, let's just have a look at the fuel pump, because this you can get repair kits for the back. There's like it's like a points system, like an ignition point system in the back, and by that I mean a point system like that, because this is a pulse pump really. It does not run all the time. It's only meant to maintain pressure in the fuel bowls. It's meant to prime when you turn the key on, providing the ECU, and I know the dumb systems, providing the ECU gets a good signal back, or sees a good signal from all the safety switches and the coils, it will prime the pump. If there is a problem in any one of those, it will not prime the pump, so the bike won't start. If you've emptied your float bulbs, you're fucked, which is why a lot of ZZRs, ZX10s, ZX6s and all this lot, people run gravity feed systems. If it's just a leisure bike, you're not touring, you're only going 20 miles down to the Burger Man or something like that on your Sunday run, that's fine. But I'd like to do some little adventures. When I've got my mental capacity back to be able to do that, I would just like to be able to get on the bike and go, right, I'm good for X miles, and do it like that. And to do that, I need a working fuel system. Now, I can guarantee you, if I go and put a gallon in Spurt now, it'll fire up, because the head of fuel is there to fill float bowls. But that system's not ideal. It works, but it's not ideal. For sort of commuting and shit like that, it's absolutely fine, but I can't do an accurate range test if the fuel system isn't as it should be. Now, Olive, I've used for the last this has been the second week I've used it for commuting. It's been faultless, pretty much. And that, I'm just near 200 miles on the tank now, and I think I saw the fuel light just starting to flicker last night. So if I go on Olive today, which I probably will, I'll go and dump some fuel oleum in, so it's still running on the main tank rather than reserve. I don't like to run tanks down low. So stop your fucking waffling, Jim. Let's get the back of this off and let's see what condition the points are in. So I'm going to stop you now. It will be mere milliseconds for you. I'm probably going to go and have a wank and a brew and a packet of crisps. Yeah, those points look a little bit, for now you can see what I'm on about. Hopefully this is in focus. There is a bit of furage between those points, and basically when it's getting the signal, this is going. Did you like that? It all looks pretty good, but all this is available as a spare, so it must be a Canon issue. Oh yeah, bolts onto there, look. Yeah, but it all looks in pretty, apart from the those being a little bit furry, you can see the wear and the corrosion on them, look. Well, it's not exactly corrosion, it's just wear. but they appear to be working okay. And I think a bit of Holt's electrical contact cleaner. Holt's good products. They are good actually. And I've discovered a new company. You'll find them on Facebook. I bought this off eBay. It's a company called Grease Ape silicone spray, because it was cheaper than other people. But they do all sorts of stuff like brake clean in, you know, like big 5 litre containers. They do all sorts of garage supplies, fasteners and shit like that. So give them a look on Facebook, or I'm sure I got this on, it's either eBay or Amazon, but it's Grease Ape, because a lot of the stuff is pretty damn good value. And I'm not sponsored or anything like that. But I would like to say thank you to my Patreon members, especially Carl. Carl's the only paying one, because he's obviously, there's probably something wrong with him. But thank you, Carl. Your generous donations actually bought a part for either Olive or Spurt. So thank you very much for that. It's very, very much appreciated. What I'm going to do with this is give it a little spray with the old electroconical contact cleaner. And I'm going to get a tiny little flat file and just go between these points and just flatten them off, get rid of any condensation. I have got a proper points file somewhere, and we'll just go from there. I know the pump works, but I'd like it to be, you know, goodly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a multimeter on the connector, the other side of the connector to the pump. Because when everything's working and I press the start button, I should see a voltage. That voltage obviously then goes to the relay, which then switches the pump on. But the pump should prime as soon as you turn it on. It hasn't been doing that. So I don't know. The loom is in terrible condition. Somebody has tried to street fighter the bike. It's all fucked up at the front. So if they've chopped a wire they shouldn't have, or they've strained a wire or whatever, I'm probably barking up the wrong tree, and I will continue to use the gravity method. The only other option, of course, and the one I'd be happy with, is if I was going to restore a bike, it would probably be Spurt, because I love ZZRs. And by restore I just mean replace the broken bodywork, probably put a new loom on it, not a new one but a good used. Before I fit that, go through all the connectors, make sure there's no corrosione. That's the other thing, corrosion on any of the circuits that involve this, it'll stop it. So that's enough waffle, that's your talky bit, and if I find anything out I will bring you back either in another video or we'll tag it on to this one. So penis. Come on, Jim, you can do it. Right. Potentially busy weekend. I need to investigate the no start on Spurt, which I'm pretty sure is just low fuel level. I'm not running a fuel pump, as I've said in the previous video, or possibly earlier in this one. What I'm doing, I'm going to make sure I've got a fully charged battery. So Spurt's battery is just being charged. I've just plugged it in, and then what I need to do is get the side panels off, get the tank off, so I can get to the pump wiring, which is all under there. And I'm going to plug the pump in and just see if it will prime, because when you first turn the ignition on it should go like click 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 and prime. I do believe, I might be wrong, but I've got a bit of a dicky neutral switch which is down here. I'll just give it a little one of them, and it's worked again. So I've got a loose wire somewhere. There you go, look, it's working now. But we're not on reserve yet, but I don't trust that gauge, and it's only done 136 miles on a tank so far, which ain't good enough. If it is very low on fuel, I don't know actually. Shall we see if we can see some combustible material in me? Well, it's not on reserve yet, and I can't even hear any sloshing around. Ooh. Jim, you have got the fuel tap rigged up the right way, haven't you? Who knows? Other jobs, Olive. Yeah, pass. I don't think I need to do anything to Olive, to be honest. Running alright. Thumbs up for Olive. She's been a good commuter bike the last couple of weeks. Really comfortable. And dare I say it, I've been riding a new Triumph, which you can all buy. It's not embargoed, so I can talk about it. I've been riding the new Tiger Sport 800. I love Tigers. The original 800 and the 1200, super comfortable, really punchy, handle a lot better than what you expect. But I'm not very comfortable on this new Tiger Sport 800. To be honest, after about an hour and a half in the saddle, the foam just goes dead. And to get on that seat after a whole day on one of those is a luxury. That is so much more comfortable. And also the Aprilia at 60-70 miles an hour, even though it's a big thumping single, is actually smoother. There's way less vibes comes through the handlebars and foot pegs of that than the Tiger. So there you go. But would I buy a Tiger? If I had the money, absolutely. Cruise control, heated grips, all integrated into the loom. Lovely. Not fond of digital screens though. The main thing being, if the sun's on them, you can't see anything at all. No information at all. If I'm batting along on Spurt and the sun is on the clocks as it's coming through this window now, I can still see what revs I'm doing and what speed I'm doing, because that needle is a 3D physical thing which casts a shadow. Don't get that with a TFT. This is why I don't like TFT screens anyway. I love the sweep of an original set of clocks. Manufacturers put TFT on because they're so much cheaper. Hang on a minute. Nice. Because they're lots cheaper. Trouble is, they go wrong an awful lot as well. But they are loads cheaper. And when Triumph first went over to TFT on speed triples and stuff like that, that clock design had to last 10 years for them to get the money back. The initial design was astronomical. That's what I was told. Whether it's true, I don't know. Anyway, got rid of some of the shit in Onslow's Corner. It's called Onslow's Corner because it's starting to resemble Onslow's front garden in keeping up appearances. If you don't know what that show is, go and YouTube it. I've got a couple of little jobs to do on the Merc as well.